the deep ones. In the deepest, most remote regions of the Mariana Trench, an ancient race of octopus-like extraterrestrials, the Ikthyar, had shaped life on Earth for eons. They weren't simply caretakers of Earth, they were the creators of life itself, traveling across the universe to find planets with liquid water and nurturing life in each one. Their civilization predated humanity by billions of years, and their technology allowed them to manipulate the forces of nature, tectonic plates, weather, and the very atmosphere on every planet they inhabited. The Ikthyar arrived on Earth 3.4 billion years ago, when the planet was inhospitable, with a molten surface and toxic atmosphere. They introduced the first microbes into the oceans, which slowly transformed the environment into one capable of sustaining life. Over time, the oceans flourished, the tectonic plates shifted, and Earth became a cradle for countless species. Through their careful guidance, life evolved into complex ecosystems. The Ikthyar's role was to maintain balance, not only on Earth, but on countless other water worlds across the universe. They manipulated planetary systems subtly, ensuring that life thrived, keeping ecosystems in harmony. Their work was an ongoing project, a universal cycle that spanned eons. But as human civilization advanced, Earth's balance began to shift. Pollution spread, oceans were filled with chemicals and plastics, and the atmosphere was choked with toxins. The very ecosystems the Ikthyar had carefully maintained for millions of years started to fray. At first, the Ikthyar believed humanity could change its destructive path. They watched and waited, manipulating tectonic movements, controlling the weather, and subtly guiding evolution. But the situation only worsened. The pollution became unbearable. The oceans, once pristine, were now unrecognizable, and the atmosphere grew increasingly unstable. The Ikthyar's influence, once an invisible hand that maintained balance, began to weaken. The natural systems they had controlled began to destabilize. Volcanic eruptions grew more frequent, earthquakes rumbled with greater intensity, and weather patterns became erratic. For the first time in billions of years, the Ikthyar found themselves unable to prevent the planet's inevitable decline. Finally, the decision was made to leave. The Ikthyar's departure was not a sudden event, but a gradual retreat. Across the world, strange lights began appearing in the sky, bright, ethereal, like the glow of distant stars. These lights were not spaceships. They were the Ikthyar's way of slipping away from Earth, their ancient vessels silently carrying them back into the cosmos. As they left, the planet began to feel the consequences. The tectonic plates, once controlled with precision, shifted unpredictably. Earthquakes increased, volcanic eruptions became more violent, and the weather turned even more destructive. The natural disasters that had once been rare anomalies became commonplace. The ocean's currents no longer followed the steady rhythm the Ikthyar had set. Without them, life on Earth was now on its own. Humanity, though advanced, could do little to stop the rapid collapse of their environment. Cities were destroyed by rising seas, forests burned uncontrollably, and the air grew toxic. The consequences of pollution, once ignored or underestimated, were now undeniable. The planet's systems were unraveling, and humanity found itself unable to correct the damage. The lights in the sky were a silent signal, an acknowledgement that the Ikthyar, once guardians of life, had departed. Earth was no longer under their watchful eye. The tectonic plates, volcanic eruptions, and increasingly severe weather patterns were no longer under the Ikthyar's control. It was as if the planet itself was trying to awaken, shaking off the remnants of a dying balance. The Ikthyar's departure wasn't a revenge or punishment, it was a result of a broken bond. They had once nurtured Earth's oceans and guided its evolution, but humanity had poisoned the very world they had created. Now, with the Ikthyar gone, the planet was free to follow its own course. As the Ikthyar's ships disappeared into the stars, Earth trembled in their absence. The seas, now polluted and unprotected, grew ever more violent. Without the Ikthyar's influence, the planet was left to its own devices, and its fragile ecosystems began to collapse. Humanity, though advanced, could not stop the tide of destruction. The lights in the sky, seen by millions across the world, were no longer a sign of hope, but a reminder of what had been lost. The Ikthyar were gone, and with them, the delicate balance they had maintained for billions of years. In the void of space, the Ikthyar moved on, searching for another water world, another place to seed life and another planet to care for. Earth, once a thriving world under their guardianship, would have to face its fate alone. Please like and subscribe.